northwestern Iran, 18 kilometers southwest of Tabriz, 1:45 in the morning. 88 U.S. Army Delta Force operators from 1st Special Forces Operational Detachment Delta had crossed the outer fence line of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' most protected command bunker in the country. Inside the reinforced structure, 320 Iranian forces guarded 45 senior IRGC generals gathered for a classified operational planning conference. Delta Force had 80 minutes to reach the bunker's lower command level, neutralize the general's security detail, and extract before Iranian reinforcements sealed every road within 30 kilometers. The bunker had been constructed 22 meters below ground over 14 years. Its entrance was protected by 3 steel blast doors, rated to withstand 500-kilogram bomb strikes. Above ground, 6 guard posts ringed the facility in a 400-meter perimeter. 4 of those posts were equipped with DSHK heavy machine guns mounted on fixed platforms. A dedicated IRGC rapid response platoon of 60 soldiers was housed in a barracks building 180 meters east of the main entrance. Iranian commanders believed that between the underground construction, the armed perimeter, and the response platoon, no ground force could reach the lower level before an alert went out and the entire garrison mobilized. The Delta Force mission commander divided his 88 operators into 4 elements. Alpha element, 22 operators, would eliminate the 6 outer guard posts and suppress the barracks building. Bravo element, 24 operators, would breach the main entrance and take the first blast door. Charlie element, 24 operators, would descend to the lower level and secure the command conference room. Delta element, 18 operators, would hold the vehicle access road and stop any reinforcement column from reaching the site. At 1:45 in the morning, all 4 elements moved. Alpha element approached the 6 guard posts from 3 directions at the same time. Operators carrying Mk-11 Mod 0 sniper rifles engaged the 4 DSHK positions from 280 meters. All 4 gunners were down in 6 seconds. The 2 remaining guard posts were cleared by 4-man teams moving along the inner fence line. 11 Iranian forces at those posts were killed before a single radio call left the perimeter. Alpha then turned its full firepower toward the barracks building. M240B machine guns opened up on every ground floor window. The 60-man response platoon was still pulling on gear when the building's 2 exits were suppressed. 14 Iranian soldiers who stepped outside were stopped immediately. The rest went to the floor and stayed there. Bravo element reached the main entrance at 1:48. The outer steel door weighed 3,200 kilograms. A Bravo breacher placed a linear charge along the full height of the door frame and fired it. The door separated from its housing and dropped forward. Bravo pushed in. 18 Iranian forces inside the entry corridor opened fire with AK-74 rifles from 2 covered positions behind a concrete desk structure. Bravo operators returned fire with Mk-18 CQBR carbines in tight, controlled bursts. The firefight lasted 28 seconds. 14 Iranian soldiers were killed. 4 dropped their weapons and moved to the ground. Bravo reached the first interior blast door 40 seconds later. At 2:01, 16 minutes into the operation, Bravo reported the first blast door secured. The first blast door was sealed from the inside with an electronic lock. Bravo's breaching team attached a thermite cutting charge to the lock housing and ignited it. The lock burned through in 9 seconds. The door was pushed open manually. Bravo moved into the stairwell leading down. Iranian forces on the level below heard the entry and set up a blocking position across the bottom of the stairwell using 2 PKM machine guns on bipods behind stacked equipment cases. Bravo operators threw 4 fragmentation grenades down the stairwell. Both PKM positions were destroyed. Bravo descended and cleared the second-level landing. 9 Iranian soldiers at the bottom were killed. 3 were captured. A Charlie element had entered behind Bravo and split off toward the secondary access shaft on the east side of the building. The shaft was a maintenance corridor 1.4 meters wide, running straight down 22 meters. Charlie teams used fast rope descent gear to drop 4 operators at a time. The shaft ended at a locked steel hatch. A Charlie breacher placed a shaped charge on the hatch's 3 locking bolts and detonated it. The hatch blew outward. Charlie's first 4 operators dropped through into the lower-level corridor. By 2:09, 24 minutes after the assault began, Charlie element was on the lower level. 8 Iranian forces in the lower corridor opened fire immediately. Charlie operators returned fire with M4A1 SOP Mod 2 carbines. The corridor was 2.1 meters wide and 40 meters long. Charlie moved in 2-man rushes, alternating suppression and advance. 4 Iranian soldiers were killed at the first 15-meter mark. The other 4 fell back toward the command room door at the far end. Charlie pressed forward. The 4 retreating Iranian soldiers reached the command room door and pushed through. Charlie operators reached the door 11 seconds later. The door had a manual crossbar lock on the inside. A breacher placed a C4 charge on the door's center panel and fired it. The door blew inward in 2 pieces. Charlie moved through. At 2:17, the command conference room was directly in front of Charlie element. The room held 45 IRGC generals and 31 personal security guards. The security guards opened fire with AK-74 rifles and 2 PKM machine guns, positioned at the far wall. Charlie operators went to cover along the doorframe and side walls. Charlie's MK-48 Mod 0 machine gunners laid suppressive fire across the far wall. 6 AT-4 rockets were fired at the 2 PKM positions. Both gun stations were destroyed. The security detail broke down in 90 seconds. 24 security guards were killed. 7 surrendered. The 45 generals were secured against the north wall. None were armed. All 45 were placed in flex restraints and photographed by Charlie's intelligence team in 4 minutes. Outside, Delta Element had been holding the vehicle access road since 1:52. At 2:11, an Iranian reinforcement column arrived from a garrison 14 kilometers north. The column included 3 armored vehicles and 5 transport trucks, carrying 110 soldiers. Delta's 2 Javelin missile teams engaged the lead and rear armored vehicles at 600 meters. Both vehicles were destroyed within 4 seconds of each other. The center armored vehicle stopped. Iranian soldiers dismounted from the trucks and pushed toward Delta's position on foot. Delta's Carl Gustav M3 recoilless rifle team destroyed the center vehicle. Delta's M249 SAW gunners opened up on the dismounted soldiers, advancing across 200 meters of open ground. The column stalled. 38 Iranian soldiers were killed in the road engagement. 41 pulled back into the tree line and stopped advancing. At 2:24, 39 minutes after the assault began, Delta Force operators began extraction. Charlie Element moved the 45 secured generals up through the main stairwell in 3 groups of 15. Bravo covered the stairwell exit. Alpha suppressed the barracks building for the final time as extraction teams crossed the open ground to the landing zone, 600 meters north. Delta pulled back from the road in 2-man bounds and reached the landing zone 3 minutes behind the last Charlie group. At 2:41, 6 MH-60M Black Hawk helicopters lifted all 88 Delta Force operators and 45 IRGC prisoners off the ground. The Iranian reinforcement column reached the bunker entrance at 2:49. The outer perimeter was empty. The barracks building was damaged. Both stairwells were clear. The command room below held 24 dead security guards, destroyed equipment, and no generals. Final accounting. The operation lasted 56 minutes from first breach to last helicopter off the ground. U.S. Army Delta Force suffered 1 operator killed and 6 wounded. Iranian forces lost 112 killed, 29 wounded, and 48 captured, including all 45 generals. The IRGC command bunker sustained destruction to its entrance structure, both blast doors, on all communications equipment, and the full command conference infrastructure, representing an estimated $340 million in hardened facility construction. The Iranian reinforcement column lost 3 armored vehicles and 4 transport trucks. Iranian forces had concrete walls 22 meters underground, 320 guards, blast-rated doors, and a quick reaction force staged 180 meters from the entrance. What they did not have was 88 U.S. Army Delta Force operators willing to burn through every door, descend every shaft, and walk out with 45 generals in under 60 minutes.